Welcome to Author Showcase. In this episode, we introduce you to a number of new books and authors. Peek in at a launch party for Echoes of Earth, a beautiful picture book that tells how rocks and minerals have contributed to life on Earth and human spirituality. And have a short visit with baseball statistician John Dewan, author of the Fielding Bible. You can learn about these books and others at authorsbroadcast.com. From Jerusalem to Beverly Hills, Memoir of a Palestinian Jew. As World War II ended, the British Empire crumbled. The ensuing turmoil in Palestine leads to Israel's War of Independence and the Arab siege of Jerusalem that shaped the author's childhood. This is the story of his journey for survival, beginning in poverty and ending as a successful businessman in Beverly Hills. Jerusalem, that is at once provincial and cosmopolitan, where lives of Christians, Jews, and Arabs intermingle, is the colorful background for a true story of a boy growing up during the tumultuous waning years of the British rule. Scenes from the Arab-Israeli War are presented from a rare point of view of a little boy turned refugee in the ravaged city. As a teenager, he becomes a member of a socialist movement, joining his friends to establish a kibbutz, where he toils as a shepherd in the burning hills of Judea. Disappointed by the communal system, he leaves to join the Israeli Air Force, where he becomes a fighter pilot. At the age of 22, he takes his teenage wife to Africa, helping to create the newly independent Ghana Air Force. Fulfilling his lifelong dream, the author travels to America, but tragedy drives his young family back to Israel for 11 years. Following the Yom Kippur War, his keen sense of justice compels him to expose government corruption, a scandal that nearly unraveled all he had worked to create and inevitably teaches him that no good deed goes unpunished. This compelling story, however, is ultimately one of triumph. A memorable scene aboard an LL flight provides an emotional end. From Jerusalem to Beverly Hills, Memoir of a Palestinian Jew is available at your favorite online bookstore. Hope Bradford has years of experience in transpersonal hypnosis and teaching the law of attraction. However, she could never have imagined the singular psychic event that would transform her life, when hypnosis client Lena Lees spontaneously channeled Eastern deity of compassion Kuan Yin. While under hypnosis, she revealed the deity's immutable teachings on the law of attraction. Witness and transcriber to these sessions, Hope Bradford has distilled the original treatise, bringing you Kuan Yin's message. In the pages of this book are true inspirational stories exemplifying the beneficial law of attraction, the manifestation teachings.
So these are your ancestors of us all. I'm Sue Baugh, and author of Echoes of Earth, Finding Ourselves in the Origins of the Planet. And this project began simply to document the oldest rock and mineral sites in the world, partly because I really wanted to find a voice in nature that I was missing, that I had really heard in my childhood. And living in the city, I had lost it. A friend of mine came with me, and she wanted to have kind of an exploration of what was our authentic experience in a media-saturated world. So we had no expectations. We had no idea what we would find. We just wanted to go to these sites and listen. So many people helped us along the way.
My name is Beverly Doolin, and I have the good fortune of knowing Sue Baugh and her husband Norm, and got involved with the project with her book through another meeting with another friend. I found the book to be extremely fascinating, and having spent a lot of time studying spiritual subjects and topics and our earth and how important it is for us to live in harmony with the world, I became very interested in helping her succeed at getting the word out.
In developing the book, we also found out that one of the reasons that we feel connected to Earth is that the ancient minerals are in our bones. They make our skeleton hard. Apatite, one of the earliest minerals formed on Earth, is also made by our body to keep our skeleton strong. Without it, our bones would bend like rubber. Ancient life is also inside us. It turns out the free-living bacteria became the mitochondria in our cells, and far more than that. The bacteria that help us stay alive, that help us digest our food, that help us make vitamins that we can't make. So this intimate connection between Earth and ourselves that really told us the story that the stones were telling us was that we are not separate from nature. We don't dominate the planet, and we certainly don't understand how it works. So the part of the book is educational. It's connecting us in a deeply intimate way so that we understand more how things work in this world so we can live with nature and stop killing ourselves. We're not killing the planet. The planet is going to be fine, but we are destroying ourselves by destroying what sustains us.
The reason why the book resonated so much with me is that I've done a lot of studying of life from a spiritual aspect and from an energetic aspect. And when I saw the pictures in the book, they immediately resonated with me. And the connection that's made in the book between nature, the rocks, the ancient rocks, and the bones and minerals even in our body, and all the things that go into life, really, really fascinated me.
Hi, my name is Michelle McCormick, and I'm here at Sue Baugh's launch for her book, and I'm really excited about it. She's been working on it for many years, and she was a co-worker of mine at a publishing house, and I got to see the pictures as they've been coming in all these years. And I'm also an earth science teacher, so I'm excited to share this book with my students, and just really happy to be here and happy for Sue.
And just to give you a little hint of the connection, this amazing structure was built by tiny bacteria 2 billion years ago. And one of the bacterial groups, cyanobacteria, produce oxygen as a byproduct. 2 billion years worth of this helped create the biosphere we have today. So every breath you take is a legacy of their work. They also sustain the world today. So it's not just in the past, it's in the present. So their work is the most fundamental on Earth. And we're simply the latest species, very young on the planet. So we have power of choice, but if we don't pay attention to the rules of life, then nature is going to say, you know what, you were an interesting experiment, but you've got to go. So this is something that the book is giving people an experience of.
I first heard about Sue's project about, 3-4 years ago, and knew that she was working on this for quite some time. And first saw some images from the book in the Pittsburgh area last fall. We were visiting her copy editor and began reading some of the book, and just was amazed by the connections that she's making between the geology of the Earth and our own bodies, and it's quite an amazing accomplishment.
On the evolutionary journey, the transformational power of these images was so profound in our own lives. They really helped us awaken as artists. Most people are not going to go to these sites. So both of us, my partner Lynn Martinelli and I, thought then, let's bring the images to the people. So we thought, why not use everyday items that people have in their lives, print them with the images, and let them carry that energy around with them every day. So we make iPad covers, we're making iPhone covers, we're making coasters, we're making purses, we're making totes, we're making clothing out of this. So prints, images, glassware, so that people can have this energy in their life in a very ordinary way. And the people who have lived with these images, it's very surprising what happens. This transformational energy really works, and they start finding themselves becoming either more creative or awakening artistic desires, longings, talents that they have let lie dormant or they haven't used before. It's really amazing and moving to see people interact with these images and to see the images interact with them. This is really powerful stuff.
And I'm a friend of Sue's, and she started this project years ago and told me about it, and I feel like I've been a part of it without actually contributing anything except support. And I saw the images of the rocks, and she was, I've sort of been looking at it as she's been going along all these years, and I've just been drawn in and very excited, like waiting for it to be complete and published and everything around it. And I feel the connection to the energy of the stones. It's just incredible. So.
My name is Pat McCabe, and I've known Sue for 20-some years. We both belong to Chicago Women in Publishing and have many mutual friends. So I was really excited about her adventure. And it's turned into a gorgeous book, so gorgeous, that I bought it either for my grandson, another copy, or for his school library. I think maybe his school library. Congratulations, Sue.
Flowing from before ancient Egypt, through biblical times, and into the modern era, symbols and stones have long encoded profound wisdom and science. Throughout the centuries, many sought after but ultimately failed to grasp the hidden keys required to unlock the most valued and elusive of all ancient treasures. For the past 2 millennia, Christian Rome oppressed myriad souls for seeking to understand the truth about human existence. Now there is stunning and comprehensive proof why so many have been deceived and terrorized for so long. Finishing the Mysteries of Gods and Symbols by 7 Star Hand delivers proof beyond disproof of an extremely ancient spiritual and philosophical technology that predates all current religions and mystery schools. Unfortunately for religious leaders, this completely exposes pivotal ancient lies. The head in sand pose may temporarily hide danger from the ostrich, but the hungry lion has no misconceptions about the truly dire nature of that bird's predicament. Isn't it finally time for long-promised truth, wisdom, and justice before it's too late for everyone? Read Finishing the Mysteries of Gods and Symbols, then help others to understand while there's still time to do so. Available at 7starhand.org. or your favorite bookseller.
The gift of perspective. Let my hindsight be your foresight. Having traveled the world and having been faced with many personal challenges, speaker and author Phil Parker is now at a time in his life where he understands what's really important. In The Gift of Perspective, Let My Hindsight Be Your Foresight, Phil Parker has captured the essence of the lessons he's learned. Phil will guide you how to experience your life from a different vantage point. He will encourage you to stretch from where you are to where you want to be, and he'll show you how to align your life congruent with your specific priorities. Phil Parker's insights will take you on a journey that can change the way you think about yourself and the way you handle life's uncertainties. Be open to the possibilities that await you and allow Phil to offer you the gift of perspective.
I'm Ray Silverstein. I'd like to show my book, The Small Business Survival Guide. This was written when business was really tough, and if you want to survive in business, I suggest you take a look at it. It has unique ideas and things that you have to do to really make it through tough times.
Are you struggling to keep your small business alive? No need to call 911 because help is on the way. Whether your business is new or been around for years, the Small Business Survival Guide can help you succeed in a difficult economy and solve the problems that are sapping your resources and keeping you from the success you deserve. Author Ray Silverstein has had great entrepreneurial success as the owner of a multi-million-dollar manufacturing business and is guru to hundreds of small business owners, people faced with the same challenges you encounter every day. Through the Small Business Survival Guide, Ray will help you improve your odds of experiencing the same success he has experienced. This guidebook is filled with practical solutions to help you ride out the storm and position your business for future growth. No hocus pocus, just sound, proven small business principles. Timeless knowledge you can always use, whether you're dealing with a nationwide recession, an industry downturn, or issues and problems specific to your company. If your business is on life support, consider this a crash course in small business CPR. Ray is throwing you a lifeline. Grab the Small Business Survival Guide now and follow his path to success.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Steve Olsher. Just ran into my good buddy Reno here, and he asked me to say a few words about my new book, which is called Journey to You, a step-by-step guide to becoming who you were born to be. It's all about discovering your what. That is the one thing you were born to do, because once you figure out what your what is, I promise you, everything else falls into place. If you go actually to journeytoyou.com, you can grab a free copy of the book. Steve Olsher, love to hear from you after you get a chance to read it. That's steve@steveolsher.com. And again, it's Journey to You. Go to journeytoyou.com, grab yourself a free copy. Thank you.
Hi, my name is John Dewan, and I'm the owner of Baseball Info Solutions, a company that has half the teams in Major League Baseball's clients, providing in-depth analytical information. And I'm also co-publisher of Active Publications, which is a book publisher. I've been involved with this since I was a kid. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, a Chicago White Sox fan. My dad took me every year to White Sox games, and I got my equipment by going to bat day doubleheaders at Comiskey Park. So every year I had my bat, and that was my equipment for the year. I grew up loving the game of baseball thanks to my dad, and got involved with the numbers of baseball because I just loved scoring games when I took that up at the age of 14 at good old Comiskey Park. I'm the author of The Fielding Bible, Volume 3. And this is a book that just came out this past March about defense in baseball. The first two volumes came out 6 years ago and 3 years ago, and now we're out with our third volume that shares the information that we give to our Major League team clients with the public. So in this book, you get an idea of how we provide information to teams and what they are looking at. So just to give you an example, last year, the Tampa Bay Rays, who won a playoff berth on the last day of the season, probably the most exciting day in the history of baseball, when Tampa Bay overtook the Red Sox, their defense was the best in baseball. And we measure that defense. Their defense saved the team 85 runs. So 85 runs, how many runs? That sounds like a lot of runs, but what does it mean? 85 runs, there's a rule of thumb that 10 runs is a win. So 85 runs means their defense saved them 8 or 9 wins. And if they hadn't had the best defense in baseball, they would have been 7 or 8 games behind in the standings behind the Red Sox, would have had no chance of making the playoffs. Okay, so in the book, The Fielding Bible Volume 3, we measure every team. We look at every player. We have scouting reports about the defense of every player. We can tell you that the Cubs and the White Sox were not very good defensive teams for all you Chicago people out there. The White Sox, I think, let me just look it up real quick for you. Their defense cost them 16 runs last year, and that's below average. The average team is 0. And the Cubs defense, 26th out of 30 teams in baseball last year. Their defense cost them 43 runs. And that's 4 wins. So it's significant what defense does for a team. It's been all about hitting and pitching over the years, and teams didn't know how to measure defense. Well, we've given them the formula of how to measure defense. So that's all in this book, and as well as scouting reports that tells you, Alexei Ramirez with the Cubs, with the White Sox rather, is a very good defender. But Starlin Castro has a lot to learn, and he's the leader in defensive misplays, a stat that we keep track of in all of baseball. So there's a lot of good stuff in the book, and no matter what team you're a fan of, there's good stuff in here for you. So if you're a baseball fan, you know that defense is important in the game of baseball. Yes, pitching and hitting are important, but you know that defense is important. And we have finally cracked the code, and we now know how to measure it. So if you want to know how good defenders are, pick up the book, The Fielding Bible, Volume 3. It's the 3rd in a series, but it stands alone, so you don't have to pick up the first 2. Go ahead and pick up the first 2. You'll enjoy those as well. But this book is a culmination of a decade of research about understanding how to measure defense in baseball. So Active Publications is a Chicago-based company, and it's a religious publisher and a sports publisher. And the sports side primarily has to do with baseball, and that's my area. So let me share with you a couple of the baseball books that we publish. One of those is the Bill James Handbook that comes out every year on November 1st, and it is an absolute complete rundown of the season. Every player's statistic, every team's statistic. So it's a statistical reference book that is on the desk of every general manager in Major League Baseball. So one of the cool things about the Bill James Handbook, which is very, very useful to those of you who play fantasy games, is we have a section on the projections for every single player in baseball as to what they're going to do before the season starts. So we're basically predicting and telling you that, for example, Adam Dunn is going to hit 29 homers. He's going to come up from his 11 homers and hit 29 homers for the White Sox this year. Or that Starlin Castro is going to hit 310. Or any and every player who we think is going to play is in our book here. So it's especially used for and designed for fantasy game players. Another good section in here is the pitch repertoire section. Tells you, for example, that Carlos Marmol of the Cubs throws 64% sliders and 36% fastballs. So it shows his repertoire, and that his average fastball last year was 92 miles per hour. So it's actually down from what he'd been in previous years. Just to give you a comparison, a guy like Thornton on the White Sox, his average fastball is Matt Thornton's 96 miles per hour, and he throws 86% fastball. So it's a pretty cool book that you can look up some nice things about players and about teams in baseball. Bill James has been my partner for the last 25 years. I'm sure some of you know who he is. He's a very well-known author who published the Baseball Abstract back in the 1980s, and he's currently the senior advisor to the Boston Red Sox. So he's a Red Sox fan. And then we actually did a book about how he changed the game of baseball, his views, and various articles written by a number of people, including an article by me. about how he has changed the game and how we view the game of baseball. Very interesting reading. And then another book by a Chicago area author, Dave Studeman, is the Baseball Annual, the Hardball Times Baseball Annual. And it's a really in-depth analytical look at the game of baseball. A lot of good articles, a lot of good analysis. So I would recommend these highly. So these books are available at activesports.com. Our religion books are available at activepublications.com, but also at any bookstore or Amazon.com, or available for your Kindle or your iPad or your Nook, whatever reader you might have. So they're all available.
Brash young boxer is something to see, and the heavyweight championship is his...
JoJo's dad is an Aliologist, someone who considers himself an expert on all things Muhammad Ali.
I am the great...
When JoJo accidentally damages his dad's favorite Muhammad Ali autographed picture, he knows that he must do whatever he can to make things right. But it's a one-of-a-kind picture. What could he do to make it up to his dad? Then, a miraculous opportunity opens up for JoJo to take his father on an incredible adventure from their home in Connecticut to Harlem and New York City to meet the champ.
I am the great...
Where JoJo shows his dad just how much he means to him. Based on the author's true life experience, Dad, Me, and Muhammad Ali is a heartwarming father and son story of a magical afternoon that changes both of their lives forever.
Beautiful fighter in the world today. He talks a great deal and brags indeedy of a muscular punch that's incredibly speedy. Yes, I'm the man this poem is about. I'll be champ of the world, there isn't a doubt.
In today's fast-paced business environment, people want to know as quickly as possible what your website is about and how you can help solve their problems. A fast show and tell will keep visitors on your site longer and help them better understand your product or service. Reno Lovison Marketing produces website video and provides a variety of marketing-related services for growing businesses. I predict nearly every company will have at least one video or multimedia presentation on their website, and we want to help make that happen. Let us show you how to use video on the web to promote your website, product, or service, announce your new book, or provide training to your staff, distributors, or end users. Take a look at some of our example videos and explore some of our other services. Call or email me personally today. Let me know what you're hoping to achieve, and I'll show you how we can help.
About 250 miles north of Chicago, Door County is Wisconsin's premier vacation destination, offering visitors of all ages outdoor fun combined with great food, performing arts, shopping, and of course, natural beauty. DoorCountyNavigator.com will help you find the perfect place to stay, play, and dine, providing all the resources you'll need to plan your trip. Be in the know before you go. To learn more about Door County, tune into A Peek Inside the Door, seen weekly on Chicago Cable, Channel 25.